I want to thank you both for being here today. We're here at RalphLauren.com, and our effort this month is to really talk about Parkinson's disease and to share with the world really what you're doing and the efforts that you really led to make a difference. And I've been reading and learning all about your foundation and the differences that you're making, and it's so impressive, and we're just so proud to work with both of you. We heard about it and heard about one of your efforts, which was to create a dog tag. And I guess you met my Uncle Jerry shopping in a store.
That's right.
And while you were there, you talked about dog tags, and now we've produced them. All the profits, all the money raised will go to raising money for your cause, and we're just very excited.
Well, we're so excited,
We're
and they
thrilled.
turned out so beautifully. I mean, exactly how I envisioned it.
Well, each one comes with a different logo, talking about be involved, really talking about all the things that are important. Be bold, be inspired. And are those words that mean a lot to you?
They are, and I think they're words that mean a lot to the foundation and the work that we do in the
It's
foundation.
about positivity. I think that one of the things when you launch on a mission to solve a problem like Parkinson's or something, you know, we don't deal with the we deal with the positivity of moving forward and being proactive, as opposed to you know, you can accept that you have a condition or a problem that you have to solve. It's good to acknowledge it and accept it and see it in its fullness, but you're not resigned to it. You can change it, and you can affect change if you be bold, if you be strong, if you be positive, and so we love to get that message out because it empowers people.
When you were first diagnosed and when you first had your symptoms, what were they and how did you feel and what did you do?
Tracy was really integral to me figuring this out because I was in Florida in the early 90s, in 1990, and I was doing a film. I was on location. I was away from Tracy. And I woke up in the morning and my pinky was twitching, and I, you know, after a while I talked to Tracy, and Tracy is not a doctor, but she was a little bit of a hypochondriac, so she always could diagnose anything. And so I explained to her what I was feeling, and she said, no, it's probably nothing, but you should see a neurologist. So I saw a neurologist in Florida, and there was nothing to it. But about a year later, I was running, I was jogging, and I was getting ready for the marathon, actually. And I was taking a little longer than Tracy expected me. We were on Martha's Vineyard. And so she went out to kind of find me en route and to see what was taking me so long. And she saw me running, and she said, you know, you're not running, you're not swinging your arms when you run. Your left arm is still. It doesn't look right. And that was the arm where I had the tremors in the hand. And so I went to a neurologist at her insistence, and another neurologist in New York, and he diagnosed me. And it was strange. I was 29 years old. When you're 29, you don't expect them to say Parkinson's. And I had no concept of what it was like, really. There was a truck coming to hit me at some point in the next 20 years, and I didn't know when I was going to get there. So I went back and told Tracy, and she was amazing.
How did you take the news?
Well, I also, like Michael, didn't really have a lot of information about Parkinson's. I had a great aunt who had had it, and she, you know, was much older, and that's all I knew. So, you know, it's kind of a strange diagnosis because you get this diagnosis, but then you're sort of in exactly the same place that you were in. It's all about what's going to happen in the future. So we both sort of, I think, decided, you know what, who knows what's going to happen in the future, and Michael was really integral in that way of thinking. So today, we're kind of in exactly the same place we were in as yesterday.
Yeah, it's not much different.
So we might as well just stay in the moment, and that was Michael's take on it. So I just.
Well, it took me a while. You were really great because truth be told, I was a little freaked out at first for the first few years, and kept a lot of it to myself. And it took me a while for Tracy to kind of reassuring me that it's all right. I mean, just be where you are, and I'll be there with you. And then, you know, and then it just, I became more accepting of it, and more, you know, again, at Tracy's urging, I started to investigate it more and meet with more doctors and meet with more scientists and find out what was going on. And so I had this kind of private world because I didn't tell anybody but Tracy and our family and our friends. And then I did TV series Spin City, and I did it in New York so I could be with the family, and got to a point where I realized that I could tell people about it because I felt so good, secure about it in my own life that I could tell public about it. And then that was an amazing thing because at first it was embarrassing and a little cringe-making to kind of say this is my health issue to such a large group of people, to People Magazine and Barbara Walters, and then people in Zimbabwe know about it. Yeah. And it's quite, you feel naked. But then after about 3 days, the conversation turned away from me and started turning towards Parkinson's disease and what is it and how do young people get it and what can we do about it and where's the science with it. And I said, wow, look at this. This is a gift. You know, this thing that my own personal struggle has now synthesized into a better understanding of a whole community that I'm suddenly a part of and have a responsibility to.
Is there a common symptom that most people have or they would look for if they were concerned about having it?
Well, tremor, but there's all kinds of things that people say when I ask people what was their first indication. It can be something as simple as your handwriting getting progressively smaller.
Handwriting is actually one that people notice a lot. They don't really notice it until after they've been diagnosed and they look back.
In retrospect, there's all kinds of
Yeah,
stuff.
I think that a lot of those early symptoms you don't even think about until you're
It can be a shoulder
looking
pain.
back.
I had all of them. Shoulder pain. I thought was because we had a farmhouse in Vermont that was old and the bed was kind of tilted, and so I slept on a funny position and I thought that's why my shoulder hurt. And then I realized, in hindsight, that's a symptom. My shoulder hurt, stiffness on the left side, slight tremor. It's usually hemispheric when it starts. Like if it's your right side or your left side, or whatever side dominant you are, if it's that side, then you'll notice your handwriting and other things.
Medicines that you take, what is the effect on your body and how does it feel?
Well, the primary drug for Parkinson's is L-Dopa, levodopa, because it's dopamine. It's the death of the dopamine-producing cells in your brain that cause the symptoms. And in fact, by the time, we'll talk about this later, one of the things our foundation is doing is trying to find a biomarker so we can diagnose and recognize we have a signature of the disease that we can recognize before symptoms are present. Because by the time symptoms are present now, 80% of those dopamine-producing cells are already gone. So, so I take, in all Parkinson's patients, for the most part, take a drug called levodopa, or synthetic dopamine. And the issue with that is, and it works, that's one of the reasons why we haven't progressed as much toward a cure in a way. We have this terrific treatment, but it only works for a certain amount of time, and then you become kind of immune to it, most people, and you start to get awful side effects, dyskinesia, movement, and difficulty with speech, and all these are side effects from this drug. So you take drugs to counter that and to ease. Like I take another drug that is actually a flu drug that was given to elderly patients with the flu, and it found that not only did it relieve the flu, but for some of them it relieved the side effects of their Parkinson's medication. So we're kind of in that place now where we have a drug that kind of works, and some other ones we borrowed from other diseases and patched them in, and kind of like as seals on the boat so it doesn't sink. But we really need a new boat. We really need a new answer, a new cure.